Now, Ron Francis has really done it all in hockey, and this is his playing career, his Hall of Fame playing career aside. This is what he's done as a general manager and also been involved in management with Team Canada, leading to the Spengler Cup and also a World Championship silver medal in 2019. So this is a guy that comes with a lot of experience, and there is a lot to like about him. Why do you think he could be a really nice fit for Seattle?
Well, you mentioned that experience, and obviously the winning pedigree, to me, is so imperative. I mean, as a player, obviously, maybe not as much success as a general manager with the Carolina Hurricanes, and they went through their rough patches, and you can't go on the ice and play for the guys, but obviously his resume speaks for itself. Ronnie Francis is a winner, Hall of Fame career. He worked his way up and did numerous different jobs in the front office, as he mentioned, assistant coach as well, an assistant general manager, player development. I mean, that's experience. So he's going to be able to use all that knowledge, all those tools along the way. And he's got a couple of years to prepare for this. So I wouldn't think of a better guy. And I didn't know Ron Francis was going to be that guy in Seattle, but I'm sure he interviewed extremely well.
Yeah.
I think that's what they kind of mentioned,
Right.
like he did, as far as he checked all the boxes of what we wanted. Certainly one thing that stood out for me, what Ron Francis said, yeah, the game's faster, speed, and he likes smart players, character. That's one thing that has not changed. When I was fortunate enough to be on Stanley Cup teams, as Ron Francis was, yes, you need talent, you need skill, you need even more speed in today's game. You need this, and you need character. And I think a guy like him can really differentiate guys that are skilled, but getting enough guys with that heart and character. Just ask the St. Louis Blues.
Yeah, seriously.
They had a lot of heart and character. That part never changes as far as trying to build a winner.
Yeah, well, I think it's important to remember, too, that while he may not have ended the season, this year with the Carolina Hurricanes making it to the Eastern Conference Final, he was really responsible for building much of the team that now is left in great position. So he has that going for him in terms of prior success.
Yeah, and I think that's an excellent point, Jamie, from the standpoint they've got a real good young nucleus. They've got a good farm system. A lot of that is, in fact, due to Ron Francis, his drafts, his development, and he was one of those guys that believed you've got to be patient. And you hear a lot of the good GMs, from my perspective anyway, it's patience, because I always use the term, or hear the term, shall I say, in the Devils organization, because I'm around them a lot. Yeah, we might go through some lean time, sustainable success. Carolina Hurricanes, like any team, with the competitive balance in this league and the margin for errors like this, just get into the playoffs. 20 teams believe they can win the Stanley Cup, but to have sustainable success, you got to have a nice foundation. And Ron Francis believes in that, and he's going to get his opportunity in Seattle. Yes, there's some pressure. Look what the Vegas Golden Knights did. So when they enter the league, it's like, what have you done? What can you do for an encore after watching Vegas? I don't know if that was really the norm, certainly for an expansion team. It was historic what Vegas Golden Knights have done to make the playoffs in their first 2 years. In fact, go to the Stanley Cup Finals the first year in the league. So I don't think they're going to put that kind of pressure on Ron Francis, but certainly he'd like the team to be pretty good, and I'm sure they will be early on.
Well, the bar was certainly set high by what George McPhee did in Vegas at that expansion draft. But I think, like Ron Francis said in the interview, this is a totally different scenario. And not only because they have to approach it differently being Seattle, but also because the other teams that might have made mistakes or given away too much to Vegas, I think they've learned a thing or two since then.
I would think so. I would think teams going, oh boy, I'd like a do-over on the player we exposed, or we didn't believe they were going to take him. And certainly it was a learning curve for the teams putting players on that expansion draft list. But the National Hockey League, for its big business and for what Seattle's paying for their franchise, they're going to give them every opportunity to be competitive, just like the Vegas Golden Knights were right out of the gate. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Again, I played in Seattle. It was many, many moons ago, but I love the area. Even back in there, I was drafted in 1982. The fans were passionate about their team. They love their hockey there, and it's grown by leaps and bounds. What did he say? 10,000 in the first 12 minutes, Ron Francis told us, season tickets. Then to 25, and then 32 within a couple of days, or whatever it was. So the interest is booming. It's going to be a lot of fun. And they have some time to put this all together. One last thing, Ron Francis is a very intelligent guy. He was one of the smartest players that ever played the game on the ice. So what's important is surrounding yourself with good people and scouts. Those guys are what it's all about. The guys that are in the trenches, finding those players, and certainly I think Ron Francis will do that very well as far as surrounding himself with real good people.